Now then, people, it's Joe, it's all Leeds TV. And look, we promised you Premier League content and we're bringing it. I mean, we've got a brilliant guest tonight, Craig from the Anfield Agenda. We're taking it up a notch. No more, no more Readings, no more Charltons, no more Ipswich. We're now talking, with Premier League champions. We're back in the mix with the big boys and we're absolutely buzzing. Quick intro from me. Quick hello from Craig.
Yeah, I'm delighted to be associated with Premier League champion. I'm not sure how much of a role I played in that, but I'm happy to take it. I'm happy to take it, mate. Lovely to be on.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming on. And I'll hand over to Oscar. He's got a nice little bit of a vibe moving from question to question. I'm a bit all over the place. So we'll let Oscar start us off.
So, obviously, as we all know, guys, fellas, first game of the season, the champions play each other. Liverpool versus Leeds. Obviously, Craig, talk to me. What are you thinking about this game? So, obviously, you've just played the Community Shield final. Good game it was, to be fair. It was a good game. I watched the game. 1-1 for Arsenal, obviously, penalty shootout. What's the feeling going into that game from the Liverpool end? Are you feeling confident in that? Obviously, defending the title, are you feeling confident about it?
Always confident with this group. They're earned that confidence, I think, to be fair, particularly from us fans. But it's a cracker of a game to start off the season. I'm really looking forward to having Leeds back in the Premier League. Great that it's on Sky. Great that it's the Premier 5:30 slot as well on the Saturday. Really looking forward to it. Interesting to see how all your new signings gel together, and I've always been a fan of your manager right through from his days managing international football all the way through. I followed him, love him, and so many of the head coaches would look to him for inspiration. And if you talk to Klopp or you talk to Pep, you'll always hear Bielsa's name mentioned there with the greats. So yeah, just happy to have you guys back in and looking forward to it. I'm not going to lie, I want the 3 points, but I'm sure you do as well.
Yeah, of course. Do you know what it is as well? I was thinking about this before. This is how the Premier League season should start every time for me. It should be the team who wins the championship versus who wins the Premier League. I think it's a perfect way for the curtain to be raised on the Premier League season. I don't know what you guys think about that.
Yeah, I definitely agree on that. It's got a good edge to it. I think because it's Liverpool Leeds, I think it's a good edge to it. I've always felt, I don't know what you think, Craig, and you guys think as well. I always think Liverpool Leeds, a lot of people outside of Liverpool and Leeds think it's like a rivalry, but for me, it's two very similar cities. We both absolutely hate scum. We both absolutely hate them Cockneys, Craig. We absolutely hate them. But I think it's a quality game. Quality starts the season. It's a good shout, that, Joe, mate. I think it would have been even better if the fans were in and it was at Ellen Road, to be honest. Leeds, Liverpool, Ellen Road. But it's a fantastic game. I mean, I'm sure you agree there, Danny.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, what a way to start the Premiership off. I mean, we all thought it was Newcastle away. And to be honest, it was just like, no offence to Newcastle, it was just like, oh, okay then. But now to play, like Craig said, former European champions, and Premier League champions, the Gegenpress versus the Bielsa press, two big managers going up against each other. I mean, it's just a great way. And I think Sky saw that and said, get these two teams playing straight away.
It's just a shame that we can't see any fans inside the stadium for that game. It would have been immense. I'd say the atmosphere would have been bouncing for that one, a 5:30 kickoff as well. How do you guys feel, though, about coming back up? I mean, I think you always hold an apology for dragging West Brom back up with you, by the way. I mean, that club will never remove the smell of Tony Pulis off it for me. He'll forever be associated with West Brom, but delighted to have you guys back up as well. And as I said to you off air, if nothing else, just for the banter now with the Manchester United fans as well, because we both have that in common. We both absolutely despise United, which is always plus points for me.
Yeah, man, it's absolutely amazing. Like, I can't wait for that, mate. I keep winding up the balls, honestly. Like, I have dreams of Calvin just going through Pogba and just leaving him on a heap on the floor. Like, I can't wait. I know, sometimes we get a bit of unfair stick. Like, in the comments, they'll say, oh, don't be calling them scum. You need to be more professional. Listen, I'm a fan of my football club, and that's how I feel. Them, Chelsea, I can't wait for them games. But on the flip side, I'm also excited for the games against Liverpool and City to see some of them top draw players at my football ground. We've been used to some dross over the last 16 seasons, 16 years, should I say. And it's just going to be amazing to see the likes of Salah, Mane, Firmino. You know what I mean? All these players, of course. And, of course, James Milner. I mean, what a legend.
James Milner.
Yeah, what a legend. Talk to us about Milner, man. Talk to us about Milner, Craig.
I'll tell you what I didn't know about James Milner when he came to the club. You knew James Milner was an out-and-out professional. You knew he lived the lifestyle of a footballer, looked after himself in pre-season. I didn't know how funny he was. My God, the man on social media just has me in stitches. Did you see him during lockdown cutting the grass with his scissors and everything? It's just Yorkshire. It's just brilliant. His sense of humour is amazing. He's never hid his love of Leeds United, of course, and why should he? But I tell you what, potentially the best free transfer that Liverpool Football Club have signed in my life. I mean, Gary McAllister will be up there as well. Another former Leeds player that came to us quite late and had a massive impact, but nothing but love for Jimmy Milner. And, you know, I suppose the fairy tale is he has another year or so maybe at Liverpool and then goes back and finishes his career. And it's a question that I get asked all the time. And look, it is probably his dream. We'd give him a massive pat on the back for a job well done. He's like the Benjamin Button of football. He just keeps getting better and fitter every season. Don't know how he does it.
Yeah, I remember. I don't know if you guys remember. Do you remember when we played Liverpool in the cup? And Klopp did an interview. I think he said, and he went, "Oh, if I didn't know anything about Leeds, I do because James tells me every day in training." And I was like, "I love that, man. I absolutely love that." Is there anyone in particular at Leeds United? I know you mentioned off air that some of your family are Leeds United fans and stuff, Craig. Is there anyone in particular that you'd be looking at, or are you aware of? Because I've reeled off names, and I mean, we all know about the Liverpool squad, but is there anyone in particular in Leeds United you're looking at? Like,
obviously, it would have been Ben White, and I'm sure you guys are devastated not to be able to get that deal over the line. Potter at Brighton obviously reckons that he needs him. We're still tracking him, I think, genuinely for the future. He caught my eye. Obviously, Phillips as well, as you said earlier on, a very good player. You did have a bit of an issue around the goalkeeping situation for a while, if my memory serves me correct. I think I'm putting that lightly, but I'm trying to be nice about it. But look, I think there's similarities in that there's not such a group of out-and-out superstars there. It's more the greater collective with Leeds, from what I've seen anyway. They're like us in that they grind out wins when they need to. I mean, you've been involved in some low-scoring games where you've just pinched it by a goal, and I've seen you steamroller teams as well. Should have been up the year before, if we're being honest about it, but I don't think there's any hope of you guys going back down anytime soon. You've done some very good business in the window so far. You've got ambitious owners in the club as well, and as we touched on, a fantastic manager. So the manager is the one that catches everybody's eye, obviously. But again, he's like that. He's kind of like that in a kind of Jose Mourinho West, take the pressure off the players, let them do their stuff. And I'm here for the shithousery and spying on Derby and stuff like that. It's brilliant. I love it.
Guys, just a slight... is everyone else's screen? Is Joe frozen on everyone else's screen?
No, not me.
Oh, okay. Just me then. That was a bit random, wasn't it? I mean, the thing, Craig, I mean, obviously going into the season, and obviously there's been strong rumours about your midfield, obviously talking about James Milner, potentially could be big business going in for Liverpool before this game. Obviously, Thiago's being linked, Gini Wijnaldum potentially going to Barcelona. What's the feeling on that? Could Leeds be facing one of the Wills on next Saturday, potentially?
I would be very surprised in a couple of ways, even if Thiago came in, if he would be picked that soon. Klopp has a history of wanting people to get up to speed, but particularly his training methods. Like you guys, we play with a really high intensity, and you need to be able to carry that for 90 minutes. And Klopp, like your manager, won't carry any passengers. So the feeling around Liverpool is kind of bittersweet. Nobody has anything but good things to say about Gini Wijnaldum. He's excellent. We spoke about Milner. Gini Wijnaldum's of the same ilk, somebody that, can play in the 6, can play in the 8, can even play in the 10 if needs be, as he does with Holland at times. Thiago will give us something different, and I think that's what Liverpool fans are looking at. There is frustration, of course, that we're getting into a situation where we may have to offload Gini, who just has 1 year left on his contract, to bring in Thiago. But I think there's also an understanding of needs must, and Thiago would give us something different. We've seen the class in the Champions League. We've seen in the final, particularly, how he just ruled that game. And he's a player that you probably don't notice much of until you're particularly paying attention to him. But I can't say when it will happen, but Gini to Barca seems to be ticking along nicely anyway. Obviously, the Koeman interest there. They're being linked with Depay as well. I think you'll probably hear something over the next 48 hours with regards to the Genie situation. But Thiago, it's interesting because there's this little triangle that's going on, and I mentioned it on last night's stream. So Bayern Munich have looked at bringing in Marcelo Brozovic from Inter Milan as a replacement for Thiago, but then all of a sudden Liverpool are linked with Brozovic in the media, and I'm saying to myself, yeah, that's just a little reminder to Bayern that, you know, don't play ball with Thiago, we're here. And then today I'm reading the media and I'm seeing that Barcelona are suddenly interested in Thiago, and I'm just shaking my head going, well, everybody just drop the pretense and just get this done. It's frustrating as hell, but, you know, transfer windows for Liverpool fans have been that way, unfortunately, since that amazing period where we got Van Dijk, we got Alisson, we got loads of Naby Keita and stuff. It's been quite quiet. And last year we did no business. We brought in Harvey Elliott, we brought in a couple of other youngsters, Sepp van den Berg and that. But this summer, I think there is frustration because we see other clubs around us spending on it. To us, it feels like we're almost more impacted by the coronavirus than anybody else, and we're the ones that have brought in untold revenues over the past 2 years. It's madness, but unfortunately, it is what it is. We're going to have to wait this one out, and I think we might do some late business in the window, but nothing too dramatic, I wouldn't say.
What? Sorry, mate, go on.
I mean, what I was going to say is it's such a change, isn't it? We're talking about people like Thiago, Wijnaldum, and we've gone from like playing against John and Ben Watson and that lot to like Thiago and Wijnaldum. It's just such a change, isn't it, Joe and Danny? It's insane, isn't it? We're in like 3 months.
Remember when we played Yeovil away and we scored from like the halfway line for that free kick? It's totally different, isn't it? I mean, we're going up every week now. We're going up against internationals, not like, you know, your has-beens. No offense, but I mean, I'll just ask Craig there. What are you expecting from Leeds? What are you? Obviously, you know a bit about how we play, and I just what are your expectations of Leeds as our return game?
It's difficult because I certainly wouldn't put them anywhere near the bottom end of the table. I don't imagine seeing you guys in a relegation scrap, but will you go full on Wolves? That is the question, isn't it, really? If you're going to be coming in there and then potentially challenging for a top 10 place, maybe even up to 6, it'll be interesting. I think a lot will depend on how the window finishes, how your manager implements those players. But when I'm doing my top 6 and bottom 3 predictions for the season, I certainly won't be putting Leeds anywhere near the bottom end of that, if I'm being bluntly honest. I think you're a club that's built for the Premier League. You're a club that understands what it feels like to be a big club. I remember back to the days of David O'Leary in charge of Leeds and that fantastic Leeds team with Kuhl and that were all conquering in the Champions League. That was an amazing time to see Leeds as a club, and obviously I was particularly proud having an Irishman at the helm at that moment in time as well, in David O'Leary. And look, it all went a little bit astray after that, but great to see you guys back. And I'm expecting a little bit of unknown, to be honest with you, and I'd like to know what you guys are expecting. What are you expecting, Joe, from this season? Do you think you'll stave off relegation easily enough?
Yeah, listen, I go all out, mate. This is what I'm saying. I don't think we'll be in a relegation fight whatsoever. I genuinely believe that. You know, I found it quite funny where, you know, you touched on Ben White and Brighton earlier on. I found it quite funny where Brighton said they wouldn't be selling to a direct rival. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't see Brighton pushing for Europe like Leeds United will be. So I don't know what the deal is there. Like, but no, I genuinely think, look, a bit tongue in cheek there, but I do think we'll be top half. I do think we will have a Sheffield United Wolves style impact on the Premier League. I think Bielsa's tactics. I mean, it was quite funny. Someone sent me a thing the other day. You know, wasn't aware that Leeds had any sort of international players, and we've got 9 out there. And the thing is with Bielsa, he'll be that prepared and have that much information that it wouldn't surprise me if he knows, you know, like the Liverpool's tea lady or whatever. He's that prepared. He'll have watched all of Liverpool's games. I think we're going to cause a lot of shocks. Whether or not that will last throughout the full season, because we have the element of surprise early doors and we could go on a decent run. And listen, games against you guys, it's free hits. But I look at the Liverpool game and think, it's a free hit. If we get battered, we get battered. It is what it is. But then we've got Sheffield United and Fulham. And I could see us getting 6 points out of the first 3. And that's what I'm going to hang my hat on. But as for positional-wise, I do think we'll be top half, genuinely, Craig. I think if we had a different coach with this squad of players, I wouldn't be as confident, nowhere near as confident. But with Bielsa, he has just got the Midas touch. He's like God to Leeds fans. And yeah, I just think we'll be so prepared, so ready, and a lot of teams won't be able to, keep up with the pace. You mentioned yourself about players getting brought into the squad. When Rodrigo comes back from international, Koch, if we do get RDP, Rodrigo, De Paul, it's probably highly unlikely they'll make the first game. If I'm being totally honest, we might see him off the bench, which from a Leeds fan's perspective, we're used to it now. But initially, I remember the first game he managed and he had one new player and we were like, what's going on? What's going on? And we absolutely battered Stoke. So we're used to it now. But we will probably see Paddy lead the line and stuff. But, when I'm so excited to see these new boys when they do get in, but he's much like Klopp in the light that he wants them up to speed. I know that was a long answer, wasn't it? But yeah,
man, it's your show. Work away.
Yeah,
I tell you what, I remember. You guys probably know this, but I remember reading. So I think it was a former goalkeeper, Bielsa, who said he instructed me to take my goal kicks and boot them as far down the field, right out play as I could, even when I had the ball in my hands, right down towards the corner flag of the opposition. And he said the fans were booing me, but the gaffer had done his research and realised that they're awful with throw-ins. They turn over possession so much that we win the ball high up the field and then we're in an attacking area. And they are the levels of details that separate the top managers from Frank Lampard.
That's what Bielsa's like.
Oh, you're coming on. Yeah, you can just, with 16 minutes in there, we've got the first Frank Lampard opposition. That's something to talk about, isn't it? Because old Frankie boy, he kicked off a bit with Jurgen, didn't he? Just a very brief one, Craig. I mean, can you explain to us what happened there towards the end of the season?
I don't even pay any attention to what Frank Lampard has done, to be honest with you. He is the hypocrite in chief. I mean, he was brought in and lauded for bringing through young players at Chelsea and then had a little skinny dip and went to Roman Abramovich's yacht, got himself 150 million and went out there and started splashing the cash like a drunken sailor. So I don't have much love for that football club, man. I'm not going to lie to you. There's very few teams in the Premier League that I look forward to beating where possible. And the utmost respect of Lampard as a footballer, but he's a little bit snidey these days, isn't he, when he's got his manager's hat on? I don't mind the snidiness, to be fair, but if you're going to go up against Klopp, you best be prepared.
Well, that's what, like you going back to there where you were talking about what Bielsa told the keeper to do. It won't surprise me if Bielsa knows Jurgen Klopp's dog's tricks. Do you know what I mean? And he starts telling him down. You know what I mean? And the preparation that Bielsa does is unreal. And like Joe said, he's a god amongst us because he's done what 16, 17 managers have failed to do. And I think it will be an absolute class game, to be honest. And I mean, it's still not real to most Leeds fans. It won't be real until that referee, blows that whistle on that day and it's on television. I mean, it's just really exciting. And I know that Joe's getting excited.
Yeah, man.
Can I ask you guys about Brentford, actually? I mean, I have to say I was a little bit disappointed that they let it all fall out of their own hands at the end of the season. It seemed to be all set up for them, didn't it? The new stadium, everything ready to go. And then, West Brom fell away a bit and it was in their own hands at the end of the season. And I don't know how they didn't get up. I genuinely don't know how they did not get up with you. It looked like, even in the playoffs, I thought they were going to get through, but Fulham just had a bit too much.
Yeah, I think on that, Craig, I think for me, Leeds United came on so much for the previous season. We didn't have experience, the group of players. We got to the playoffs, we lost out, we drop out. I think Brentford this time will probably storm the league, if I'm being totally honest with you, mate. I think, we as Leeds fans probably were glad in a little bit of a way that they didn't come up because of the way they went on over the social media and stuff. There was a little bit a niggle here and there, but don't get me wrong. I mean, they're an unreal side. The way they're structured as well, the way they bring in players for pittance and sell them on for big numbers, and they're a top outfit. And I do think that they will come up this season, to be honest. But on the Frank Lampard thing as well, sorry to bring it back to that, but you make a good point. He went on about saying, you've won one title, you're giving it the big one. There's a code and all that. It wasn't that long ago, mate. The season when they beat us, one of their players took a shit in our dressing room. And No, it's serious though. And they smashed the gaff up. They smashed the gaff up, right? And Lampard's bouncing around in the changing rooms, and then he has the audacity to say it's against the code. I can't stand the man. And I've already backed. It's 25-1, or was it 35 for Leeds to do the double against Chelsea home and away, because Bielsa's got his number. And we had a little chant, stop crying Frank Lampard, and I can't wait to get it out again because, throw money at it all you want, but it doesn't bring you success. And I just think he's inept as a manager, if I'm being totally honest. That's just my opinion, and I can't abide the man.
It's all right, because Chelsea are doing
all for it.
It's all right, because Chelsea are doing a Fulham, aren't they? They just spent 80 million on Kai Havertz.
They're still singing about Steven Gerrard, still, to this day.
Yeah.
Still singing about Steven Gerrard. If that doesn't show you how much that man is inside all the Chelsea fans' heads, I'll never know. And look, to me, you are talking about in the two greatest players of their generation in midfield, probably in English players, in Gerrard and Lampard. But, don't get me wrong, I still don't think Lampard's fit to lace Gerrard's boots, or ever will be.
100%. I mean, Gerrard turned up for England. Lampard didn't. Lampard bottled it every single time. Because that's what Frank Lampard is. He bottles things. He had it at Chelsea in that lot. He was playing with a top quality team. And look, he was a top quality player himself. But I've never really seen Frank Lampard. Just Frank Lampard as a player. I've never really seen him as a big game player. And that's the big argument between Gerrard and Lampard is compare them in the big games. Look at Gerrard, the big moments, the Champions League final, the Cup final, moments like that. You'll never ever see Frank Lampard do that. And for me, that's why Steven Gerrard will ultimately go on to be a far better manager as well for me in the future too. I just think that mentality's there with Gerrard and it's not quite there with Lampard. I think he's a bit too, you see how much Klopp gets in his head, how much Leeds have got in his head and that lot. That's not the sign of a great manager for me. That's the sign of someone who's weak to an extent. I think just lets things get to his head, and you can't be a successful manager if you let things get to your head that much. I think he's showing a lot of Mourinho traits. I think he gets more like Mourinho every single day, to be honest. I don't know what you guys think.
It's tough to see a former Manchester City legend like Frank Lampard, getting to this way, but we are where we are.
I love that,
I love that this chat has now turned to just absolutely just roasting Frank, just taking turns just to roast Frank Lampard. Danny,
he's a hypocrite, though. When he had Harry Wilson, he was thanking Liverpool and he was wanting to keep Wilson there. And then obviously when he comes to Chelsea, he starts giving it Billy Biggin and thinking that he's ready to mix with the big boys. And look, I suppose I understand somewhat. You're new in the Premier League as a manager. You kind of got to lay down a marker and you let people know you won't be walked all over. But I mean, going straight up against Klopp, pick your battles.
Definitely. I really like Liverpool, and I know this is way off peak, but Liverpool Football Club is probably that match against AC Milan when he's won in the Champions League final is probably the only time that I've cheered on another side as much, because it was just absolutely amazing to watch that time. I don't know why that's just come to me, but that was absolutely amazing. Were you doing that YouTube at that time? I guess.
Oh, I was at the game. I was at
really?
the game.
Wow.
Unfortunately, I was in Athens as well in 2007 when that didn't work out. But I've got similar memories. When I think of you guys, I'm automatically thinking of Tony Yeboah and Mark Viduka banging in ridiculous goals against us. And there's been some great games over the years between the two clubs, and I look forward to many more of them because, as I said, I think you guys are here to stay. I don't see you going back down. But look, let the banter continue throughout the season. Now that I've been following your Twitter account as well, it's very funny. I do love Sensi. Also,
I think we've lost you, Craig.
There we go, Craig.
Sorry,
back.
There we go. We lost you there,
did I drop out?
Yeah, sorry, mate, you froze.
You were
sorry.
on the Twitter bit, I think.
Yeah, I was just saying that I dip my toe in and out of Twitter because it can be a bit toxic in there at times, to be honest with you. But I do love following fun accounts, and yours is definitely one that provides great banter, and I'd advise everyone to go and check out. It is great, and it's definitely a Premier League worthy Twitter account as well. So, look, I don't want this to be a love-in. Let's get back to us giving you a hiding on the 12th. I mean, we can't be just sitting here patting each other on the back.
Not going to happen. 5-0 Leeds.
I hate to break it to you, Craig, but Luke Ayling is going to have Sadio Mane in his back pocket for just 90 minutes. It's absolutely no problem. Stuart Dallas, Mo Salah on the other side, not a problem at all. Anyway, I'll stop taking drugs anyway, but no, I do genuinely think it's going to be a really intriguing game, guys. I mean, I think you look at teams that go to Anfield last season. I'm sure Craig will be far better qualified to talk about this than me, but you know what I've seen, Craig, last year especially, with so many teams just go to Anfield and sit back and just wait to. It's almost a huge mistake at Liverpool because you just know Alexander-Arnold, Robertson's going to produce a moment of quality, ball into the box, Salah, Mane, all these players. It's a big mistake, and they just sitting ducks to an extent. But Leeds, I just feel that this game, there's no way, Joe and Danny, we're going to go and do that. We're going to go and attack. We're going to try and keep the ball as much as we can. We're probably going to have as much of the ball as Liverpool will. You know, as mad as that sounds, you know, a team that's just newly promoted, but we're that strong in our identity that I think we do present a different kind of challenge. Ultimately, I'll be honest, I'm not expecting anything from this game. Any kind of result at all will be absolutely outstanding. But our season's not going to be defined from these kind of games. You know, our season's going to be defined from, you know, winning the games we should win. You know, and this is one of those games where I just wanted to put a show on, show what we're about, just build a bit of confidence. Let's not go there. Let's not concede after 2 minutes or anything daft like that. Let's just try and put Liverpool under a bit of pressure. You know, make it a tough game. If we get hammered, we get hammered. But as long as we don't gift it to them, that's what the main thing is for me. As long as we don't gift Liverpool chances. You know, when you've got Salah, Mane, as long as you're not gifting them chances, you're making them produce moments of quality. You know, you're not just gifting it to them. I'll be pretty happy, to be fair, guys. Obviously, we want the result. But we've got to keep it, you know, a reality to it as well. But what do you think, Danny?
I totally agree. I don't think Bielsa's the type of manager just to go there and play for the draw. And it's the Leeds United. I'm sure Craig saw that the first 45 minutes that we played against Arsenal. I think we played them off the park in the first 45 minutes, and that wasn't even our first team. I know Arsenal made some some replacements of their own, but it would a totally different game if Bamford would have scored that, rattled the crossbar. But going back to the Liverpool game, I think we'll try and match the intensity. I think we'll try and, you know, Bielsa ball our way through. I mean, like I say, the gegenpress is hard, and when you've got Salah, Mane, Firmino, you know, and maybe even if Gigi's playing in the middle as well, and it's just we're not a team to sit back. The only time I've ever seen like our team rattled against Barnsley, that 1-0 win. If you agree, I've not seen Leeds like that before. But I think we'll match intensity and it'll go from there. I think.
Yeah,
it's going to be. Sorry, Joe. Go ahead.
Go on, Craig. No, go on, mate. You're right.
I think the mistake a lot of people make with Liverpool is they think about the wide areas, that they understand that Virgil van Dijk can play long diagonal balls. And something I noticed with Ben White, actually with you guys as well, is he wasn't afraid to carry the ball forward and attack from the back. But our midfield is overlooked time and time again by so many people. I mean, the work that Jordan Henderson gets through in the Liverpool midfield is phenomenal. And I think that's where this game is going to be won and lost for either team, because, you know, you may try and force us narrow because, you know, we attack with Trent and we attack with Robbo down the sides. You also can't leave space in behind. So I think it's going to be interesting to see, one, how both managers set up. So there's a lot of talk between Liverpool fans of, will we perhaps see a little tweak in system? If we brought Thiago in, the plan is apparently to play Fabinho and Henderson with Thiago ahead of them. And I don't particularly like that because I don't like holding midfielders, particularly at home. That Thiago obviously won't be playing for this game, but I would expect maybe Naby Keita to get a run and be very wary of Naby Keita, because people just think of him as a box-to-box midfielder, but he's a trickster in and around the penalty area as well. And it's going to be great. I can't wait for it. Like you guys, I'm as excited for this game as I would be for many other Premier League games, because it's one we haven't had in 16 years. So bring it on. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, man, it's amazing, just rolling off them names there off the tongue. That's what I mean. I just can't wait for us to get started, just for the calibre of players that we'll come up against, and doing this and having viewers. And I'm going to try temper that, because I do think, look, against Liverpool, we'll have a go, but all it takes is a couple of mistakes from our defence to give the ball away, and we could be on the end of a hiding. And they're the facts behind it, because Liverpool are deadly, and we're going to find that throughout the season. But I'm at peace with that as a Leeds United fan, because I understand it. But what I am thankful for is that we won't change our ethos, like the lads have said. We're not going to go defensively. We are going to have a go. And that's an exciting prospect. And I do think them early fixtures, we will catch teams unaware, really. Maybe I'm being naive. We're talking about different level coaches now, aren't we, in comparison? But I just look at starts of each season under Bielsa that we've had him. We've come firing out of the blocks, and we've been hard to keep up with. But we are at a different level opposition now, and we could be on the end of hidings. And if that happens, I'm at peace with that, because we will have had a go. And that's all you want from your football club, right? Is to have a go. I couldn't deal with watching. Well, we've done it. We've done it in the League One, Championship days under certain managers, the likes of Hockaday, Steve Evans, etc. We've seen dross football. So, I just feel as a Leeds United fan right now, and I say this all the time on my videos, and to the younger generation, enjoy it while it lasts, because Bielsa's not going to be here forever. And, in a few seasons, we might get a manager that might not want to have a go against the Liverpool and might want to put, 11 men behind the ball. But while he's here, I'm here for the ride. And I'm so excited to be playing such a great football inside under Jurgen Klopp, man. Quality side, and bring it on. And I think we could maybe nick it. I don't know. You never know, do you? Never know. It's a free hit. It's a free hit for me.
Don't forget, every other opposition fan, well, mostly, idiots, are expecting nothing from us. They're expecting us to go straight back down, and I think a lot. If we've just signed Spain's number 19, who started last night for Spain, and a German international. We're looking at RDP from Udinese, who's an Argentinian. Played alongside Messi, captained Argentina, I'm sure, at one point. And I think a lot of teams are going to get a shock, because I don't think they're expecting this Leeds team. If we bring in this quality, of player, this type of caliber of player, I think there's going to be a lot of shocks.
I mean, Craig, obviously one of the teams that we aspire to, well, two of the teams we aspire to are Wolves and Sheffield United. Two teams, just that first season back, have just absolutely smashed it. Even almost made the Europa League. Both of them almost made the Europa League. And how far, obviously, having seen those teams, because obviously we've not seen as much of those teams as what you will have done. How far do you think this Leeds team is from having a surprise season to an extent? As Joe said, doing what Sheffield United had done. Do you see that? Or do you think maybe that's a little bit too ambitious? Or what's your feelings on that? Do you think Leeds are a long way off that, or quite close?
It's difficult, because Wolves had players that, quite frankly, didn't belong in the Championship. Had they got Ruben Neves there as an example, they were setting themselves up for the future. Chris Wilder's job at Sheffield United has been nothing short of sensational, and I think if the enforced break hadn't happened, I think they might have nicked the Europa League spot. I genuinely do. They were fantastic, and I know Jurgen Klopp has mentioned his admiration for Chris Wilder and the job he's done there. In fact, when we're talking about maybe loaning out Brewster, Wilder was mentioned as a candidate to give him a good footballing education. And I think what you guys have said is right. You will catch a lot of teams unaware, and particularly a lot of fan bases unaware, because they just expect you coming up out of the Championship to have Championship quality players with a few additions. But I've watched enough of Leeds over the past 2 seasons to know that I don't know if you will get quite to the level of Wolves, to be honest, because it is a very tough league. And I'm just rattling off the top 6 in my head. You've got Liverpool, City, United, Chelsea, Spurs, Arsenal, and they're all going to spend money. And then behind that, you've got Wolves, Sheffield United, Everton, who are going out and spending some decent money in this window as well. So, Yeah, it's going to be very, very difficult. But I definitely see you guys being safe. And I suppose it depends how quickly the new signings gel, what way the manager approaches it. And I agree. I don't think your manager's really going to change his style of football. Why would he? It's a successful style. The players know their roles and they know their jobs. And it's intriguing. But of the teams that are coming up, I definitely think you're probably the best equipped. Fulham, to me, Fulham always seem like a club that will come up, have their best players poached, and go back down at some point. I don't see that in Leeds. I think you're here for the long haul. I don't see you being anywhere near the Championship again for at least another 16 years. And I genuinely hope that you guys stay up, because as I said, I have a lot of uncles. My wife does as well, that support Leeds. And anyone that hates United as much as we do, that's good.
It's good times, right? Do you know, on that Chrissy Wilder thing, I have a lot of respect for him, and I have a lot of respect for Sheffield United, if I'm being totally honest. And I remember Bielsa saying something similar about Wilder and the way the centre backs overlap and stuff. And he'd even said he'd tried it himself before, and it hadn't worked for him. So he had a lot of admiration as well for Wilder. He's done quality at Sheffield United, and for him to be a hometown lad and stuff, it's top notch. And do you know, I get a feel now. I look at the Premiership, and it's got that 90s feel. It's getting back to when I was a young one, you know what I mean? Some top teams back in the division. Just need a Nottingham Forest up there, maybe. I'd like Nottingham Forest.
Well, that's my wife's club, actually.
Oh, really? Yeah,
my wife's a Forest fan.
Yeah, man, I hope they make the step up as well, because it's getting a good feel again in the Premiership, isn't it?
Yeah, the Forest were brilliant. They did the most Nottingham Forest thing ever, right, in the last day of the season. My wife was saying to me all season, I was like, Forest are up in the playoffs. And she said, they mess it up. Don't even tell me. I know they'll mess it up. Don't even talk to me. Then the last day of the season, I was watching Soccer Saturday as it was unfolding, or I was watching some show anyway, and I turned around to her and said, no, you're right. Yeah, no, they've gone full on Forest.
How
did they do that?
We were doing a video, so you probably were watching us, Craig. I bet that's what it was. You just can't remember.
That must have been it. Yeah, that was it. I'm forever getting you and Jeff Stelling mixed up, Joe. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we look. You never know though. There's some spots opened up now. They seem to have sacked the full Soccer Saturday lineup, haven't they?
But they kept Merson. They kept Paul Merson for some unknown reason. I mean, Mr. 5G conspiracy theorist Matt Letizia can do one, but how'd you get rid of Tomo? How do you get rid of Tomo? Do you know what I mean? Tomo's brilliant. I don't know why they got rid of him.
Should we go for score predictions before we wrap up, boys?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, the last thing I want to ask you, Craig, obviously, just very quickly thinking of one. Just to ask you on. So obviously back four, we pretty much know what we're going to get. Van Dijk, Alexander-Arnold, Robertson. Front three is not going to change, is it? You know, Mane, Firmino, Salah. It's the midfield three, isn't it? The midfield three. If Wijnaldum doesn't play, who will play? You know, if Wijnaldum goes before Saturday, who's going to play? Who's going to play alongside Henderson, Fabinho for you?
Yeah, you wonder, will the manager kind of give James Milner a pat on the back and say, "Go on, it's your club, mate, go on and show us what you can do," because the manager loves James Milner. I mean, I can't get that across enough. Jurgen Klopp was, when James Milner's contract is up for renewal, that was priority for Jurgen Klopp, because James Milner brings, as you guys know, a lot to the dressing room as well, and he's a senior pro that Klopp backs. But if I'm to have a guess, if it was at Ellen Road, I think maybe we'd see James Milner, but I would go with Fabinho, Henderson and Naby Keita if I was to pick. Now, if Wijnaldum's head is straight, maybe if he's still a Liverpool player, because Gini Wijnaldum's played since 2016-17. Only Bobby Firmino's played more Premier League minutes. I think Gini's second on that list, so he's definitely a trusted lieutenant for Klopp. But if I was to pick my three, I don't think Gini's head would be in the right place. I'd go Fabinho, Henderson, and Naby Keita.
Nice and easy then, lads, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
How do you... Sorry, just one more quick question, if that's all right. How do you think Calvin Phillips will fare against Hendo or in that central attacking role? How do you think he'll do?
I think it'll be an interesting learning experience for him. I think, and I don't mean that in a belittling way. I mean, you're talking about it, one of the most underrated midfielders of his generation for me, in Jordan Henderson, somebody who is finally getting the recognition he deserves for the work that he does. I mean, you can't look at managers like Gareth Southgate, Steve Bruce, Jurgen Klopp. Anyone that's worked with Henderson has just sung his praises and made him captain usually when he's involved. So I think it's a good learning experience for him, and I think that will be part of this season for Leeds United's team coming up. I mean, a lot of these guys will want to show that they are Premier League quality, but want to go up against the best, and it's what drives them, and it's what got them to the level that they're at. So it's going to be really intriguing.
Well, it's probably giving them a
England international Calvin Phillips. Let's not forget that.
I was just going to say, he's probably sat next to Hender, won't play, and just giving him, I'm going to do you on Saturday. I'm going to do you.
15 down the stairs and that lot, just going, sticking the leg out and going, oh, you're not going to be fit for Saturday.
By all accounts, I think he's just been connecting with the Yorkshire boys, Annie Carl Walker and Kieran Trippier and stuff like that. I watched the video earlier on. It's absolutely amazing to see our boys back in that mix, in it. I got a little bit, I don't know, he feels like my mate, Calvin, do you know what I mean? Even though I don't, he's just one of them guys, man. He's an absolute diamond, and I cannot wait, because there's a lot of fans that don't watch the Championship, haven't seen a lot of him, and probably think, who's this kid getting in the England squad, especially them Villa fans that are going, what about Grealish, even though they play totally different positions? Do you know what I mean? I just didn't get it, but listen, Calvin...
you mean Ireland's Jack Grealish? Not going to lie, that still stings. Still stings.
But, I mean...
Right, guys, England could win the Euros. He can score a hat-trick in the final. I still won't like Jack Grealish. I still won't cheer for Jack Grealish. Just not a chance. Not a chance.
So my prediction...
I don't get the love in for Jack Grealish.
You don't get it either?
No, I mean, what was his great stat last year? He was the most fouled player in the Premier League. Bravo, son. Well done. Carry that with you throughout your career. That'll get you far. I don't get it. I mean, I wouldn't want him at Liverpool. I'd much rather James Maddison.
Yeah, same. We've had
or Cantwell, actually.
Yeah. But like with Grealish as well, like you say, I remember Dean Smith making daft comments about him being the most fouled stuff. It's because he falls on the floor every time anybody is near him. Calvin's had him in his pocket, multiple times, and long may that continue. I hope he gets his big money move anyway and absolutely flops. I can't stand the man, but that's just my opinion. Anyway, should we do score predictions? Yeah,
I'm going to go with 1-1.
Oh, draw. That's garbage.
Well, I'm a garbage kind of guy.
That's better than mine.
Go on.
I'm a garbage kind of guy.
Oscar?
I'm going to go high-scoring game. I just see it end to end. Both teams eye-pressing each other. 3-2 Liverpool. Being totally honest. That's what my head's telling me. Heart's saying something different, but I'm going to go 3-2 Liverpool. Being honest.
I'm going to go 2-0 Leeds. We're going to catch them on the fly. We're going to take 3 points from Anfield. Fingers crossed. What about you, Craig? How do you see it going?
I'm going to go 2-1 Liverpool. I think you'll catch us cold. I think you'll get the first goal in the game, and then we'll turn it up in the second half and eventually grind you down. I hope. But I mean, we've got a tremendous home record. That's one thing I will say, that Jurgen Klopp has turned Anfield, with or without fans, into a fortress. So I wouldn't, even the most optimistic Leeds fan, and I would say this to any opposition fan, be expecting to leave Anfield with 3 points anyway. But I'm going to go for a 2-1 win. I don't think it's going to be as easy as a lot of people might predict this game to be.
Cool. Thanks, mate. Cool. I think, well, thanks, Craig, for coming on. We will put Craig's details in the description. And I think you're going to fly off and do a live now, Craig. Is that right?
Yep, I am indeed. Then I've got to be up early. I've got an American podcast to do tomorrow, and then a couple of other bits. Busy weekend. And this is my weekend off, apparently. So there you go. That's the fun of it. But really, look, lads, thank you for having me on. And genuinely, this has been so much fun. I've really enjoyed it. And we'll definitely get you guys on at some point. Maybe we'll get you on for a reaction after the game or something onto our channel, and just introduce you to the Premier League family, which is where you boys belong.
Great stuff, man. That'd be great if you could give us a shout out, Craig. That'd be greatly appreciated. And I guess we'll leave it there, guys. So thank you very much for tuning in. Keep it locked to All Leeds TV. There'll be plenty more Premier League guests over the next coming days, weeks, months, because we're here to stay. And we'll leave it there. So thank you, Leeds.